plug on the speed dial. I live my life fast, my foot on the gas, I live what I dream now. And you mad cause I brag, I go get the bag, they know I'm a cash cow. For my haters, I ball out. Got the money, don't need the clout.
D.Va is one of the best all-rounded tanks in the game right now, and her versatile kit allows her to complete 3 main tasks that are essential to winning the game in the end. So today I'm going to go over all 3 tasks that every D.Va player should know that they have to do in order to win the game. If you guys like this type of videos, if you guys are new to the channel, be sure to like and subscribe for more of this content. If you guys aren't in the Discord server, be sure to join because I am active in the server if you guys want to talk to me, and enjoy the rest of the video. Okay, so the first task is pretty simple. You have to dive the enemy team, and that just screams out dive tank. You have to live up to the name of being a dive tank, which means you have to dive the enemy supports and the enemy snipers because those are the people that the rest of your team cannot kill that easily. Alright? So live up to the name of being a dive tank and really just have good positioning with the boosters. And how I like to think of this is like, before you use your boosters each time in game, ask yourself, what are you getting after you use your boosters? Are you just boosting because you can? Or are you boosting because, you know, there's a deeper purpose behind it? So what I mean is, if you're using boosters, you're either using it to get a better position, to get out of a bad position, or to help your team, or to like chase down an enemy. So if you're using your boosters just because you can, you're going to end up needing your boosters when you actually need it, but not be able to use it because you used it back when you actually just could use the booster, but there's no purpose behind it. So with your boosters, you have mobility, which is a big contributor to your all-rounded, you know, kit. And because you have mobility, it's only one of the big contributors that contribute to your all-rounded tank. Mobility is really important as a dive tank, and you have to know when to use your mobility because your positioning really matters. You have to dive from the right position, you have to not get yourself in a bad position from diving, and you just have to know when to retreat and, you know, who to go for when you're diving. So big takeaway here, diving is your first job as D.Va, and just, you know, live up to the name of being a dive tank. Diving is really the big part about D.Va's arsenal, but this next one is also a really important job as well, which is why I put it as the second I'm going over. So the second job of D.Va, to be blunt, is to defend your team. You have defense matrix, which blocks 90% of the things thrown at you, but there's still beams that can leak through your defense matrix. Now this is where counterplaying comes to play. You have counters like Zarya and Symmetra with beams, but counterplaying is really just a myth. You have to know that it only gives the enemy an advantage if they play a counter. It's not an instant win button. You don't just click. You don't just like click a counter and expect to win. It's not an instant win button. You just click and win, right? So knowing that, you can still beat a counter because D.Va is an all-rounded tank, and she can beat most people in the game right now if, you know, you play it right. And this is just from my experience. So if you're struggling against a counter, that's normal because that's what a counter is supposed to do. It's going to make things more challenging, but in the end, you can still play it right and still win that way. So knowing that, you have to use the defense matrix wisely. You have to, you know when to dive back and help your team. If you have like a soldier 76 running away from, you know, someone that's spraying him down, you have to defend it. If someone's ulting and you want to keep them alive because you know they're gonna secure like 3 or 4 kills, which is huge, you have to defend them. Like Reaper, you can't let him get speared, or if he slept, then it's gonna be wasted. Some heroes just, you know, get the ults cancelled that way, so you have to protect them. If your supports are getting dive bombed by a tracer, be sure to protect them. You have to know when to get back, you have to know when your teammates are, and you have to, you know, just keep an eye on your surroundings. You have to spot that tracer out of nowhere. You have to help your supports if they're getting sprayed down. You have to see if Reaper is teleporting behind you. So, big takeaway here is, defend your team, know where your teammates are, know where, if any, know where the enemy flankers are, if there are any, again. So, just defend your team. Alright, last but not least, you have to frag. You have infinite ammo, you have ranged missiles with splash damage, and you also have Baby D.Va. You can't forget about that. So all this adds up. You have to be a heavy fragger on the battlefield. You have to, you know, get all those kills in the end because D.Va is supposed to have a lot of kills. And she is also supposed to have a really good KDR. So that means you have to have really good consistent stats at the end of each game. I might just pop up a few of my own stats right now. You just have to notice like how consistent these stats are. And yeah, that's just really how, you know, you're supposed to play D.Va. You have to have these consistent stats. You have to frag on the battlefield. You have to get all those kills there. You're going to be the main focus of the enemy team, but luckily with your all-rounded kit, you have mobility, you have armor, you have like a ton of health, you have your shields, and you have range. So with all this, you can outplay most of the heroes in the game if you play it right. But this is the big takeaway here. You have to frag and you have to take down all these enemies in your way, while also managing the other 2 tasks that we mentioned earlier. Now, all this might sound a bit overwhelming because in reality it is. Playing tank is really pressuring, and you know, when you have 3 main jobs to take care of all at once, it gets even more pressuring, right? So we've all been through that moment, so big takeaway here again is to just frag and just try to stay calm as a tank, because if you freak out, it's probably going to end up worse for you than if you just stay calm and try your best to complete these tasks. So I think that's going to do it for this video, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.